Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another throwback review for this week, kind of as a sort of late Christmas special. In this one, we're going to be throwing back, reviewing, giving our thoughts on what I consider to be the greatest episode the Walking Dead television series has done and may ever do, and that is for The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 9, No Way Out. And I hope you guys had yourselves a very Merry Christmas and fun Boxing Day if you did any crazy shopping or anything like that. That's a big deal for us here in Canada and then also in the UK is Boxing Day, people going crazy shopping and stuff like that, huge deals and things like that. So I know in the States it's more Black Friday, but here, that's what we do. So I wanted to go ahead and do this one for NWO or No Way Out for The Walking Dead, mainly because I don't think I've done a throwback review to it. Since it's not that old right now, we're basically looking at 2 years in terms of time frame between where we're at right now for The Walking Dead Season 8, just getting ready to go into the back half of Season 8, and where The Walking Dead was at this time a couple years ago in the return episode for the second half of Season 6. So this episode for me, if you guys haven't seen my top 5 or top 10s, this one right here is, it's pretty much as soon as I saw it, I thought right away, this is the best episode they've ever done of the series. Up until this point, we had Too Far Gone, which was an amazing episode. We had episodes like Clear, we had Better Angels, we had some great episodes even in the first season. And then I feel like after Too Far Gone, which was probably the best of the first maybe 4 seasons, Season 5 topped it with No Sanctuary. Just by a little bit, they kind of inched that one out. And were able to actually, bring us an episode that surpassed Too Far Gone for me with No Sanctuary. And then in Season 6, they were able to actually one-up it again, do it again with No Way Out. And since then, I don't feel like any of the episodes have really beaten this episode, even though the Season 7 premiere being as big as it was and having as much buzz as it did, it came pretty close. If you guys don't know, Season 6 is my favorite season they've done of The Walking Dead so far. And watching this episode again really kind of reminded me why. This season is kind of like the ultimate zombie apocalypse, season that you could ever have. This is the ultimate zombie movie done instead of just in an hour and a half, done over the course of a season. But just with the most amount of zombies you'd ever damn well want to see. The huge zombie herd. You've got Daryl there on the bike, just tons and tons of zombies. It also features what is one of my favorite teams, or one of my favorite groups of the survivors we've ever had. So in Season 6 time, we still had characters around like Glenn, and we also had Carol, we also had Morgan, we're back, we had Daryl, we had Rick, we had Michonne, we had Abraham, we had Carl, which just sounds weird to say, and we also had the Alexandrians too, which were still pretty new at that time, had been in the series for a little while, and of course they have a huge part in this episode. But I just love the way this season kind of takes this kind of paradise in the zombie apocalypse, which is Alexandria, and it really shows that with the amount of zombies that are near it, that they've really just been lucky that a lot of these zombies haven't found them, and eventually they're going to get there, and there's going to be a reckoning. So this episode is kind of the culmination of all the things coming up in the first half of The Walking Dead Season 6, all coming down to a climax or a final episode or a finish for kind of that Alexandrian original kind of story arc, merging from the back half of Season 5 into Season 6, where you get the huge zombie herd and Morgan back and all these other things that are going on. You get the wolves, which was pretty cool. They were a pretty fearsome group, I want to say, and because they're just kind of so nasty and dirty and the things they do. The alpha wolf is actually still alive in this episode. This is his final episode, so this is the last episode for the wolves as well. Wolves not far, right? Wolves far gone now. So, yeah, man, this is exciting. If you're a fan of old school zombie apocalypse, movies, this one is like, a dream come true, I want to say, for a fan. For me especially, just getting to see the amount of zombies they were able to do, the way they all just kind of, the look and everything, they just really took a lot of what we had seen in the earlier seasons, where you would see some zombies around sometimes, and they just they brought on the zombies, man. Like thousands of zombies, just all kinds of craziness everywhere, ready to just eat your face. So in this episode, they're all boxed in, right? They're inside the houses, and you have a few of them, a small group that are starting to kind of walk out with the guts trick, including, you've got Carl, you've got Rick, you've got Gabriel, you've got Michonne, Judith is in there underneath somewhere, either with Gabriel or with then Carl before that. And then you have the Andersons. So you have Jesse, which I did like to see her a lot in the series. I thought that was a really cool character kind of for Rick, and kind of the effects that it had on him as sort of a potential, mate after Lori, which was cool, and it didn't work out at all, right? Then you had, of course, Ron, and you had Sam, who I think everybody loves Sam. He's a good kid and stuff. Carol freaks him out. He's like this little cookie monster and stuff. And there were some things in this that I hadn't remembered, like when Sam starts to freak out, he hears Carol's voice when she scared him, right? When she scared him into not saying anything about the monsters, and they'll come and get you and eat you, all this kind of thing. And he wigs out, right? So let's get to that in a bit, because that's like the best, one of the best scenes in the entire series. I think, because really, this is supposed to be a horror series, and even though we have a lot of different genres in The Walking Dead, this episode might be one of the most, probably the most horrific that there is. I mean, the season 7 premiere is brutal in its own way as well, too, with the bashing and all that. But this was pretty bad, too. I mean, you have eye getting shot out, you have, the part where she kind of locks Carl's hand, because she's being like she seizes up on him, so he can't pull out, and Rick has to cut her hand off with the axe. So that's pretty damn brutal, too. I mean, if anything, you see the red, right? Like Morgan said, I see red, all I see is red. And he sees flashbacks of her and the red, but then he's still, trying to save Carl, so he's cutting the damn hand, right? So it's crazy, man. Now, in addition to all that, if all that wasn't enough to make this a great episode, we also get the finale for the wolves with the alpha wolf, who's kind of kidnapped Denise, and she's with him, and he's trying to get her out of there. He's trying to escape with her. Because we recently had Carol and Morgan get into a fight over what to do about him, whether or not to kill him, whether or not to, all life is precious, that kind of thing. And that kind of gets resolved in this episode as well, too. And then we also have the introduction of the real start, I want to say, to getting to see some of the saviors. So we get to see kind of our first maybe big group of saviors that are, with Bud there on the bikes, and T and the others that Daryl blows up with a frickin' bazooka. So that's really cool. And also because you have Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha, who are at the beginning of the episode, they're driving down. You see kind of the flash is black and out. And then you see them kind of come up on this group on the bikes that are all, armed, fully armed and everything. And so they stop, they get out, and it's a pretty intense opening sequence. It might be the best intro ever in the series. I mean, literally, you have him, he's kind of talking to them, he's kind of getting them to hand over all their gear and all their stuff. Abraham's just like this. And, you've got Bud who talks about, if you have to eat shit, chew, swallow, repeat, whatever, bite, chew, swallow, repeat. And so he goes over, and you've got Sasha there too. And it's kind of cool to watch now also because, neither of them are alive in the series anymore, right? You had Daryl and then the other two, and the other two have been casualties of the war that we've seen at different stages, right? You have Sasha at the end of season 7, the beginning of season 7, you had Abraham. So it's kind of sad, but at the same time, it's kind of cool to see that. You see Daryl get one of his wings clipped because he gets stabbed kind of in the back there, which I'll be looking for in the future if he ends up getting hit on the other side. If anything happens to him on the other side, then it's like both his wings are clipped or something, and we might be looking for Daryl to be killed off eventually. So maybe in a couple years, I think, still at this point. But it's an amazing intro sequence. You get the rocket launcher, you get the fade into the credits, and it's just like, oh yeah, man, I remember an episode like this. When nobody complained about what was it like? Just about nobody complained over a rocket launcher blowing up a group of saviors that seemed pretty badass and were pretty intense. Right, the last part, I'm not going to kill you. Wait, yes I am. Annoying and kind of like the way Bud is, the way he was before he gets hit with the kaboom. So incredible intro sequence to get things started. Then we go into kind of the no way out situation, which is very similar to the comics where you have them kind of walking, and they do walk for a while. They walk this way, and there's just so many zombies everywhere. It's kind kind of packed in. They go to a certain section and they kind of discuss what they're going to do. Gabriel offers to take Judith with him, and he kind of goes off. Jesse tells Sam that she wants him to go with him, but Sam decides not to, thinking that he can make it, but unfortunately he's not able to, as we get to see later on. So we have that. We have some stuff with Tara, Rosita, and Morgan and Carol with the Alpha Wolf, which eventually Carol does finish him off. Carol sees him and she shoots him down. He also gets bitten as well, too, because he's trying to take Denise with him. And it's kind of a weird situation because he's like kidnapping Denise, but at the same time he's kind of protecting her from the walkers. So you don't want to see her get killed, but at the same time, so he's kind of protecting her and doing something that's really bad that he shouldn't do, which is to try to get her to escape with him and take her with him, because she is useful, of course, being that she's basically their doctor and everything like that. And she knows what she's doing for the most part. So, and then she's got a badass moment as well, too, here later after what happens to Carl. We've got Glenn and Enid that are in there as well, too, and he's got some kind of close calls in this episode, too, with Glenn and Maggie being on top of the platforms they had in Alexandria, which recently, I'm assuming, are probably all blown up at this point. We'll have to see when they rebuild. I'm sure they'll re-add some more. So we have all that stuff going on. We got night falling. We have the group spreading out. And this is the big scene right here that is like, I want to say, ultimate zombie apocalypse craziness when you get to see so many characters bitten. Sam freaking out. He gets destroyed, twice, 2 zombies on him, like brutal. And then you have Jesse who's like, losing it. And then she's taken too. Rick is in shock. He's just standing there saying like, no. It's like, this can't be. And the editing, that's another thing about this episode. The editing in this episode is just fantastic. I mean, you want to talk amazing. Not just for having the flash red scenes in there, but at the end as well, too. They did some really cool stuff with having the group kind of flash through in black, like portraits, as they're all killing all the zombies down with their hand-to-hand weapons. And they kind of, all of the different, cuts and movements, they all flow in together, and then at the end you see Rick and he kind of tears it down with the last axe shot, and then it kind of fast forwards to daybreak, and you see all the zombie bodies just everywhere. So this scene right here is one of the craziest scenes ever. I mean, you have multiple character deaths here. You have Ron, who loses it and points the gun at Rick like he's going to shoot Rick or shoot Carl, and then you have Michonne, who kills him, with the sword. So Michonne saving Rick against Carl again by killing Ron, which is, again, you want to talk brutal scene. I mean, yes, Lucille's scene is brutal in season 7, but she, like, impales him with the sword, and he is like a kid, So it's like, why didn't people complain about brutality in this episode? All of a sudden they just started. It's like they forgot what was in the series before the season 7 premiere. I know the eye pop was pretty brutal too, but Ron's just a kid, man. It was Michonne too, so it's like, oh my god. I guess it's okay when the good guys do it, but when the bad guys do it, it's not acceptable, right? When Negan does it, it's not okay, right? They gotta throttle back on the brutality. So, man, that's a really crazy sequence right there. It's one of the most kind of brutal, zombie apocalypse deaths that we see in the whole series. It really makes the zombies feel super scary when that happens, because it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, well, a lot of times you're okay, you can take on one zombie or you can get out of the way, you can do this kind of thing. But then you see a scene here where the guts trick just doesn't go right, and people just get devoured, and it like Noah, and it's just absolutely brutal, man. So if that wasn't enough, I mean, that probably by itself right there would make it one of the best episodes we've had of the series. They also add in, so you've got the Carl eye shot. So while Ron is getting impaled, the gun does go off, you can hear it, and then you see Carl, he kind of looks up in a great shot where you see his eye bleeding out. So I was like, Dad? Which, now that he's been bitten and he's gone, or he's on his way out, it doesn't really, I mean, I guess, like, it doesn't really take away too much from this one, because it really was so exciting. Like, I remember when they did it in the comics, when they did it in the TV series, and it was just a huge just such a horrific and crazy and shocking scene. The Walking Dead is some of the best shock value in any series I've ever seen, and that was certainly one of those moments. So you got him, so he runs, you got Michonne right there with him, and it also fits in so perfectly with Rick and Michonne starting a relationship later on, which of course we do get to see, which is part of why I love that relationship so much, because it just fits so well. Michonne was always there for them, she was always there to protect. She pretty much saves Rick at this point, I want to say, because Ron could have shot him. He could have shot him right there, and that might have been it, and it might have been over. But she comes to the rescue like that in brutal fashion and takes him out. They run in, so you get Denise there who goes into action, and Rick, please save him and everything. You have the others, and she's doing what she can do to save him. And of course she does at the end. We know, of course, obviously, that Carl survives for now. Carl survives for that part. So really crazy stuff. Now, here's where we get into some really cool stuff where Rick just decides, F this nonsense. I'm not going to be afraid of these bastards anymore. And I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to, I don't care what happens. So he takes his axe and he walks out. And then, as he's killing a whole bunch of zombies, as you get to see some of the best zombie killing in the whole series with the pickaxe and everything, hatchet or everything else, you see Michonne join in. She comes out, gets out there with him, and then all the others, and then even Eugene's they talk about not being afraid, and they kind of all get the courage. They all go out there, and you just start to see them all take the zombies down, one after another, after another, after another. Just zombie kills out the you-know-what. Carol getting in there joining, everybody getting in there joining, everybody coming together as one team to overcome adversity, to overcome the situation, to fight back against this just tremendous odds or tremendous amount of zombies when any single one of them could get you, or a couple of them could get you and kill you, as we just see earlier, makes it one of the absolute most exciting sequences, I want to say, in the whole damn series. And like I said, the editing is incredible. You see the slices come down and everything. Even Gabriel, gets out there, and then Tobin kind of asks him, and he says, "We've been praying for God to save us. God has given us the courage to save ourselves." So. To save it ourselves. So it's really, really cool, man, just seeing everybody get out there and just killing everybody down. And then at the end, you have the group from the beginning, which is Abraham, Daryl, and Sasha, who make it back finally after all this time and are able to help out. And, we get the sense, light up the water on fire and everything, the gas and everything. Bazooka, which is freaking sweet. And we see basically the episode kind of, roll out here at the end. We have Rick talking to Carl and telling him that he wants to show him the new world, or the next world, a larger world that they're all gonna build together. And we get the hand kind of closing around Rick's hand to let him know that he hears him, he's with him, and he's still alive. So if we work together, what we can do. So what they can do when they all band together, they all work together, and they fight back against impossible odds, they're able to achieve great things. So it's an incredible episode. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, will it? Right now, for me, it's the best episode they've ever done. I'm wondering if it could be the best episode they will ever do. It was directed by Greg Nicotero, and I would say that, he's probably the best director you could ever ask for. I mean, when you watch this episode back, you're just like, wow, why can't they make episodes like this anymore? Well, you can't do it because you got to kill off a whole bunch of people at once, and the zombies can't always be the core threat. You have to have other groups as well too. But this one was just so wicked because you just had the zombie threat, you had the start to the savior threat, you had the bazooka awesomeness, you had the group not giving in, not giving up, not cowering in fear, standing up and accomplishing something great together, clearing out their no way out situation together. So, man, I really feel like this is when The Walking Dead was probably at its hottest. It was around this time into the season 7 premiere, starting in around season 5 for me. So, in terms of score for the episode, I can't give it anything but a perfect 10 out of 10. It's an incredible episode. It might be my favorite episode of any TV series ever, and I think it's just really because I really enjoyed that original Alexandrian's storyline. It's been, it's kind of passed through now. They've kind of moved on quite a bit from it. But it was just so exciting, man. It's like the ultimate zombie apocalypse movie with characters that you care about, that you want to see survive, you want to see, do well and excel. And, some of them get their eyes shot out. Unfortunately, some of them get devoured, and some of the others, the strong, are able to survive. So that's my throwback review, guys, for No Way Out. I hope you liked it, and I hope you had a great holiday. I wanted to do it just because, it's like one of those special episodes. I'm not going to be doing a lot of throwback reviews. I've done a couple here, one for Clear, one for this one. I won't be doing a ton of these, but, every so often I do feel like taking a look at some of the best episodes the series has to offer. Some of the episodes that made The Walking Dead what it is, and one of the biggest shows on TV, even beating NFL ratings and things like this. And I really feel like this episode right here is definitely one of the ones that helped make that happen. And the whole arc was incredible, so really crazy stuff from the start of season 6 up to this point. Just oh man, so cool and fun. A fun group of survivors as well too. That looks very different now, but just really. Really crazy stuff, man. So let me know what you guys thought about No Way Out. If you haven't seen it for a while, you could give it a watch and leave a comment below. Maybe if you have a different episode that's your favorite or one that you think is the best, that you were the most into when you saw it, which one was it? Leave a comment below on which one was just like the biggest episode for you, and let me know what you guys think. Anyway, send me any questions if you guys want to see any other Q&As this week or anything, and of course I'll do videos updating you guys on any new Walking Dead news as it is released for season 8 second half. That's it for this one, guys. If you liked the video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. If you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, and you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. See you guys soon. Just subscribe somehow.